Today, we're talking about two of the most important, but of course hardest to understand factors when it comes to building and fixing roads. How roads are funded, and who's making the decisions on which roads receive that funding. My guest today is Julie Matuszek. Julie, welcome.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay, so these are the pots of money. First, federal and state gas taxes, car registrations, which I, of course, call the annual birthday tax, the state general fund, local community millages, the local communities general fund, and then special assessment districts.
Before jumping in, there are two important points we need to mention. Clinton Township does not have jurisdiction over our roads, as crazy as that seems, and we don't receive any funding directly for roads. So that means it's critical to understand how these other government agencies work and how we can get more road dollars into the township.
So after holding a ton of meetings with people from these agencies, then compiling this research, we said, we need to diagram this so people can understand it. This is what we came up with, and it's complicated.
And then, after diagramming it, we said no one's ever going to understand this diagram.
But they will be able to understand it if we break it down. So, Julie, why don't you start with the federal funding chart?
Congress appropriates money for road projects, and that money goes to the State Department of Roads, and the rest of it goes to the county. The decision makers are a group named the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments, or SEMCOG. They're guided by a transportation improvement plan, and then the Macomb County Federal Aid Committee, and they're the folks that decide which federal road projects will be funded.
As we talk about federal money, these are the dollars we really want, right?
Absolutely. When we get federal money for road projects, they pay 80% of the costs. The Department of Roads pays 10%, and then the township has to pay 10%. So competing for federal dollars is huge. But these agencies are meeting now for projects that aren't going to happen for 2 or 3 years from now. So understanding this process and being ready when there's a call for projects is huge. And I'm glad that we're now doing a better job than we've done in the past.
What we need to do now is talk about state funding.
The Michigan Department of Transportation gets its money from car registration fees, the gas and diesel tax, and the state general funds. That money is divided up between state road projects, cities and villages, who can decide on their local road projects, and the county road agencies. So if you're a city or village, you get a direct allocation of road money and you get to decide where to spend it. Townships do not. Our money flows to the Macomb County Department of Roads. The Department of Roads is responsible for the primary roads, but each of those projects requires a match from the local community, meaning local communities have to pay for 50% and sometimes 60% of those projects.
A city or village can use those dollars to fix residential streets and use a portion to meet this county match requirement for primary roads. For a township, there is no pot of money, no dedicated revenue stream for roads. We have to come up with these dollars out of the township's general fund. And we don't have much control over which roads get repaired.
One of the things I've learned quickly is the general fund dollars are hard to find to fund these road projects.
If it's hard for us, let's talk about residential streets. All of the residential streets are under the jurisdiction of the Macomb County Department of Roads. But the county says, we don't have enough money to fix the main roads. We're not going to pay anything for failing residential streets. That becomes 100% the responsibility of the homeowners who live on those streets.
The county has a $2 million grant program for residential streets, not just for Clinton Township, but for all the townships in the county.
Right. If we can get projects approved for the grant funding, residents pay for half and the county will pay for 50% up to a maximum of $500,000.
Roads are expensive, and we know that far too many residents live on failing residential streets and can't afford to pay 50% of the cost.
Well, Julie, I want to thank you for being a part of this committee, helping us do the research, and for coming on to help people understand how roads are funded and who is making the decisions on which roads get fixed.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
Visit our About Roads page on clintontownship.com, where you can find more informative videos and how to contact your state legislator with our easy-to-use fillable form. Let's make our voices heard and establish quality roads here in Clinton Township.